subscribing. I'm just trying to kill a little time till I know for sure this thing's on. Welcome to my podcast live stream. I'm here in Albuquerque, New Mexico today. And looks like my parents are out there, my mom, my dad, and my sister. What a nice, lovely family. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Oh, let me turn this off like I do every freaking time. Yeah, it's we had a little bit of a low blow today. One of our good friends out here in Albuquerque, Uncle James, you might have known him in my context with the Hobos in Limbo. We played in a bluegrass band together from probably 2002 to about 2010. He was the mandolin player. And unfortunately, Uncle James passed away today. Pretty suddenly. We knew he was in bad health, but yeah, I guess one of our friends found him today in his apartment. I guess he was dead. So gonna make a little bit of a nod to this episode to him. He was a big part of my life. I got to see him on Saturday night actually, and he was at a house concert that I was playing at, and I thought we were gonna be able to pick together, but he had to go home early because he wasn't feeling well. I don't think anybody knew he was this, his health was this bad. So we're just gonna sing a couple songs for him to start this out with. I'm in New Mexico right now. I've been here for about 2 months, and I'm gonna talk more about that and being here, and I'm gonna have to leave on Sunday. But yeah, he was a big part of my life here in Albuquerque and New Mexico. So I'm gonna sing a song that I've played on this podcast before. It's called Chinese Restaurant. It's about living your life passionately, like Uncle did. He was a musician pretty much his whole life as well. He was a great bass player, great mandolin player, played everything, and a singer, good singer. He could sing songs, write songs. So this one goes to him. This one called Chinese Restaurant. People know this one from way back. Chinese restaurant, eating fried rice, soaking up soy sauce. Zodiac for my placemat gets me wondering. I play guitar and sing, I'm living my dream. So when the doctor tells me I am dying, at least just maybe I can die happy, knowing that I have lived passionately. Bring me a bill with a fortune cookie that I forget to read. 'Cause my poor wallet can't afford it. Now I'm washing some dishes. Play guitar and sing, I'm living my dream. So when the doctor tells me that I am dying, at least just maybe I can die happy knowing that I have lived passionately. Yeah. Hey, thanks a lot, everybody, for tuning in. I saw you tuning in there. Let's see. We got Noah and Las Cruces. What's up, Noah Baldwin? Good to hear from you, bro, as always. And we got my good bro, Mark Whittet, tuning in. Mark Whittet and I had a good old time last night. Um, we had a bunch of cocktails over at this place, super fancy cocktails, uh, like the best in the world. This place is like this cocktail bar here in Albuquerque's off the hook, dude. They can make you any cocktail. And I think I mentioned this on the last episode, but they make the best grasshopper I've ever had in my life. Um, it's like a Slurpee machine they have of these grasshoppers. It is so good. My friend Jake and I went last week for the first time, and man, like you go to bars these days and you try to order a cocktail and they like roll their eyes at you because all they want to do is pour you a beer or a shot or whatever. Not this place. It's called Happy Accidents here in Albuquerque, and Mark Whittet and I went out there last night and had some drinks. We went also to my friend's bar. It's called Clown Dog. They sell hot dogs and beers and stuff. It's really good. They have really high quality hot dogs and stuff there. So we went there last night as well. But thanks for tuning in. That song was for Uncle James. I'll play one more in his honor as well. Like I said, he was a huge part of everybody's life here in Albuquerque, the music scene. He will be missed in this music scene here. I hadn't, we hadn't, I don't think anybody had no any idea he was that, he was gonna die today. That's just, what a bummer. And my condolences go out to his immediate family as well. Joe and Rusty, his sister. Joe was his nephew. That's why we all called him Uncle Joe, because his nephew's Joe. He's our friend. He's a good friend of ours as well. Everybody loves Joe, and Rusty always came out to the shows. They were like a really close brother and sister, and it's crazy because I was just thinking about it. I think Uncle James was from Durango, if I'm not mistaken, Colorado, which is where I'm heading on Sunday. Actually, after I leave Albuquerque, I'm heading up to Durango to see a good friend of mine, Seth, and I think that's where Uncle James is from. But yeah, what a legend. His name was James Brown, actually. Uncle James Brown, or sometimes we just call him James Brown. He was the white James Brown. And what a good guy. So cheers to Uncle James. This is a Zevia I'm drinking today. Mark Whitted, I hope you're feeling all right out there today, dude. I know I woke up a little bit slow today. We didn't hit it too hard last night, but we had fun. It's gonna be like my last few days in Albuquerque, so my friends and I are getting together and doing little celebrations. This is just a Dr. Zevia. It's just a soda it's sweetened with stevia, so there's no calories. Very delicious. A little bit of caffeine. So cheers, everybody. It's Friday. I don't know what that means to everybody anymore. I still think Fridays are fun. And Noah says it sounds good. My dad says it sounds good. I'm glad to hear that. I think this is going to be an all guitar episode. Um, I've been in New Mexico for like 2 months, and there's something about it, the vibe out here, that I just feel more inclined to play the guitar. I played a lot of guitar the other night at my friend Jenny's my friend Jenny's housewarming concert out in Tajares, and played a lot of guitar and it felt good. My mom's asking how old was Uncle James Brown? I think he was I don't know actually. That's a good question. I think he was probably in his late 50s, early 60s, wasn't he? I'm not sure. He was always older than us, of course, a little bit older. But he always hung with us, man. We had some good times. Really good times. He was funny, man. We were playing a wedding up in somewhere around Santa Fe. This was years ago, probably 20 years ago. And things were weddings can be just so intense. It's just they feel very stressful sometimes. Everything has to go a certain way and they want to make sure the everything goes just right, and of course me and my friends being musicians, we're just kind of like I don't know, we're just come as you are kind of people and just not I don't know, just trying to be chill, I guess bohemian like people, we're very chill, hippie types and whenever like we were ever playing in like places where things get kind of like intense and stuffy, it's kind of weird. So we were playing this wedding. Nice people, very nice people up there. But things got really intense with the wedding planner and all this stuff. And Uncle James goes, "Let's get out of here, bud. This place is getting weird. These people are just getting weird. We hadn't even played the wedding yet. It was like, let's just get out of here, man. This ain't worth it." It was just so funny. He always had something funny to say. It was so funny. I saw him the other night at Jenny's place and he was funny. And it's just so sad, like seriously, it's really it really it it's kind of like it's hard to process. I just found out right before the podcast, this before this live stream started. I just found out, and it's kind of hitting me a little bit harder than I ever really expected. But I'm sure he's in a better place, as they say, and he's probably watching us now. Hopefully, Uncle, if you're out there, hello to you, and we hope to see you on the other side someday. Hopefully, it's a good trip over there. What does Mark would it say? Uh, he said he ain't lying. That's right. He wasn't lying. Hey, the sci-fi. What's up, bro? Thanks for tuning in, Jason. I haven't heard from you in a while out there. At least you got to see him one last time. That's right. He came out to my show in April here in Nob Hill, which is where I'm at the moment. At Tractor Brewing, he came out. It was good to see him, but I didn't get to talk to him much because it was pretty hectic and a lot of people and stuff. And then I got to hang out with him a little bit out there. You're right. I'm really grateful to have hung out with him one last time at least. And I thought we were gonna jam, but he had to go home. As soon as I started playing, he left because he just wasn't feeling well. So yeah, you're right. It was I'm really grateful to have seen him one last time at least before I see him on the other side. And maybe that brings me to the next song, huh? I'm gonna play a song. I don't think I've ever played this song on this podcast before. It's a song of mine called "JawBreaker Sky." It was like kind of one of my first little hits. I remember it was a hit because I put out this record. It was really tumultuous to make this record. It was the record where I had paid this producer like $600 in the year 2000, I think it was. It was 2001 because 9/11 had just happened, I remember. And I paid this producer for this at this studio downtown Albuquerque, $600, which was a lot of money at that time for me, especially. I was working with the mentally disabled people, and I wasn't making a hell of a lot of money, and my music wasn't making hardly anything at that time. So I paid $600 for this album, and I had all these studio musicians, and one day we're recording, and everybody just seemed to be in such a bad mood, and I just was like, "What's wrong with everybody? Why are you guys giving me so much attitude?" And they're like, "Well, if you paid us, we would feel better about this whole thing." And I was like, I'm not gonna say any names. I was like, "I paid the producer the other day. I paid him the whole thing." They're like, "Oh my God, you did?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they go, he probably bought cocaine with it and just spent it all." So they were like cooler about it, but the whole record was just like that. It was like a comedy of errors kind of thing, and finally got it together and I put it out. It's called Hobos and Limbo is the name of the record. It's a FastHeartMart record called Hobos and Limbo. Later on, would start a bluegrass band called Hobos and Limbo, so it was a little confusing. But this song was on it called "JawBreaker Sky." I hope you can follow me here. JawBreaker Sky was on it, and I had been going through a breakup with my wife, my ex-wife. We were breaking up and getting ready to get a divorce, and I think she texted me. It's like one of the first text messages probably ever got, or maybe she emailed me. It was definitely not a phone call, and she's like, "How do I get a copy of that JawBreaker Sky song of yours?" And I was like, "Man, if she likes it," and I guess her friend liked it too. I was like, "If these two like this song, like, because they were like, we were going through a breakup." I was like, "This must be a good song." Like a lot of people like this song, so it's called "JawBreaker Sky." Sorry for the long story if you didn't follow, but yeah, yeah, this was like one of my first kind of hits that like a lot of people liked, played it a lot, and it's about the southwestern sky and how it turns like jawbreaker colors, like the old jawbreakers. You'd suck on a jawbreaker and they would change colors. That's kind of how the sunsets are out here a lot of times, and but it's also a song just like letting go and just the eternal. And this one goes out to Uncle James as well. At night, the moon cools down the road. The Model T4 cools down the glow. Jet black night, jawbreaker sky, cactus moon pie, the southwestern lights, desert dwellers escape the sun. It's changing colors on the horizon. It's jet black night, jawbreaker sky, southwestern lights, cactus moon pie. At night, the moon cools down the road. A Model T4 sucks on the glow. And jet black night, jawbreaker sky, southwestern light, cactus moon fight. Yeah, I'll be alright. I'm just saying goodbye. Goodbye for now, Uncle James. We'll miss you, man. It was always cool to have him come out to shows and play music with him, so you'll be missed. Um, yeah. Any other comments here? Yeah, so that Jet Black Night line is interesting because there was a band called Jet Black Summer back at that time when I was writing that song. And my wife and I, as I said, we were kind of on the rocks during that time period. And we were living in a band rehearsal studio. And the studio I was actually ended up recording that record. And at about 2 o'clock in the morning, this band called Jet Black Summer, it was Joel Sanchez was the singer. Um, and Joel Sanchez and I are still good friends, and there was a bunch of good guys in that. It was a great band, but they were so loud. I mean, It was like a jet. It was like a jet engine was turning on at 2 o'clock in the morning. We'd be sleeping, and they'd start practicing at 2 o'clock in the morning. I said they're good. It was like so loud, and that the name of the band was Jet Black Summer, and I think that's why I used those lyrics because I think that term Jet Black is just a cool. It's a cool term, Jet Black. I don't know where that ever came from. Probably a military term for like jets being black or whatever. But fun fact for you there. Fun fact from that era of my life. Anyway, yeah, it's been really nice being here in New Mexico. I think I first came here in 1996 to visit my high school sweetheart then, who had moved out here, and I just instantly loved it. People were riding bikes everywhere. It was a really bike friendly town. I really enjoyed that because I came from the suburbs in Virginia, the suburbs of DC, and it was really hard to ride a bike places, and there wasn't bike trails and stuff at that time. I know there is now more so. Um, like in Manassas and stuff there was just like it was just not a bike friendly town. So I was really like immediately loved the place. I loved the lighting. The lighting was always really good. And then I think I moved out here the first time in 97 and then moved out here for good in 99 till 2011, I think it was. And so that was like from the time I was like 18 to the time I was like 30 or 32. I spent a lot of time here, and I think that's why it always kind of feels like home to me here. Even though when I'm in Virginia and around my family, I feel at home around them. I don't feel at home with Virginia, the place, for some reason. As people say, like I feel like a Virginian everywhere I go except for Virginia. I just feel like I don't know. I don't know why, but I've always had just an affinity for this place. It's called the land of enchantment. Some people call it the land of entrapment because once you move here and spend a significant amount of time, a lot of times you'll move away and you come back. It's like one of those places where you always want to come back. Life is pretty simple here, I think. I feel like still even in 2026, life is a lot simpler, a lot slower, a lot less people. That is for sure. The population density is a lot less than any other place, a lot of other places in the country. Um, like especially California, very densely populated. East Coast, very densely populated. And it's just been really nice to spend time here. I was planning on spending more time here this year, but of course, my defibrillator broke back in February, so I have to go back to California and get this fixed on June 18th. So I'll be heading back to California after I visit Colorado, and I'll be playing a gig in Palm Springs, California on June 4th. And anybody knows anything about Palm Springs in June, July, August, September, even October, it's hot. It can be over 100 degrees. It probably will be by that time. Probably be about 100 and something degrees. Probably won't be 120 yet, but it'll be 100 degrees, and I have to fix my air conditioning in the cab of my motorhome. I've got a hose that needs to be fixed. Anyway, I'll fix that. And, but yeah, it's a little bit. A little bit. I was really loving spending my time on my land, and I really want to get back here as quick as possible. I really do. But I know I have to. I have a bunch of really good gigs in San Diego and good people and good fans, and I got to spend time out there too. So I'll be out there for the rest of the year. Be back in San Diego, and then I'll be back here in April of next year. That's the plan. God willing, that is the plan. Travel Guy 38. Sounds good. This is M Dizzle, by the way. Who's M Dizzle? Travel Guy 38. You look familiar. I'm glad it sounds good. Sometimes I think, like my friend Ross tells me, he's like, you're a good banjo player, but I think everybody just still wants to hear you play guitar. So I spent all this time focused on the banjo. Maybe I'm just going to head back to playing guitar, especially out here in New Mexico. I think I was just hanging out with my old drummer today, Murdoch O'Mooney. Murdoch, if oh, is that you, Murdoch? That's Murdoch. This is M Dizzle, by the way. Okay, got you. That is Murdoch. I was hanging out with Murdoch today, and it's just so good to hang out with him. He's such a cool guy and really good musician, great drummer. And we were kind of like jokingly, half jokingly maybe, talking about like doing some stuff, playing some music in the future here. So um, I'm taking it seriously. I think I have an idea of what Murdoch and I could do that would, because he's a full-time musician. I mean, full-time teacher. He teaches and he makes his living teaching these days, and good guy. Um and we just had a good day hanging out and stuff. I'm sorry we couldn't spend more time together, but next time, Murdoch, we will. But yeah, gonna focus more on the guitar, I think, coming up here in the recent future. Is that a term? Recent future. um Recent past is a term. Recent future should be a term, right? And yeah, so I want to play one of my newest songs, Switching Gears. This week was a big low blow for the country and a lot of people and a lot of people's opinions. I'll just recap for those of you who aren't aware. There's a senator, right? Is it Senator Thomas Massey? Is it Congress? Hang on. Somebody look it up. Maybe Thomas Massey. Is he a senator or congressman? Hang on, I'm looking it up. I should know this. We should all know this. He's a representative for Kentucky from 4th Congressional District. He's not a senator, he is a representative for Kentucky's Congress. So he's part of the Congress. Anyway, Thomas Massey has been one of the most legit figures in some people's opinions and in our government. He's actually gone against Trump in a lot of decisions, a lot of what do they call that when they have to make a motion? He's gone against Trump quite a bit. He considered himself a Republican. Um, and hey, what's up, Mike Witten? Mike Hell, I like to say. What's up, bro? Nice to hear from you. It's not often I see you on the live stream, bro. Congress, okay. Near future, off grid badass. Yeah, yeah. So anyway, Thomas Massey was voted out this week because and it looked a lot like hi. um it looked a lot like Trump and all these people basically paid for the funding of this other guy who won the congressional seat. And man, I don't like to talk about this. The country that shall not be named, if you know what I'm talking about, it starts with an I. Seemed to be behind this other guy who won, and Trump too. They were trying to get Thomas Massey out, and they got him out. Um, uh, yeah. Let's be Travis is here. That's crazy, Travis. What's up, man? He said it. Travis said it. He's a brave man. He put it out there. What's up, Travis? Good to see you, man. Anyway, it looked like a coup was it looked like there was a coup against Thomas Massey this week. He got voted out and he was like one of our last legit people in the government, really. And any elected official. It was Thomas Massey, perhaps Rand Paul, perhaps. I say perhaps. Rand Paul's and is it Lauren Boebert is the only last three people in government that seem to be legit, like looking out for the United States. America first is like we're calling it. Tulsi Gabbard is resigning? Really? Tulsi Gabbard's out? What the heck? She's leaving is such a yeah, what the heck, man? Tulsi Gabbard's badass. She's like I would definitely vote for her for president. It should be Tulsi Gabbard and Candace Owens for vice president. Those two together, dude, be the A team. Like you could not mess with that. You know? Um we would have we'd have our first, woman president and vice president, black woman vice president. Not that any of this matters to me, but to a lot of people, apparently it does. They want to see, these types of figures in office, which I get it, but I think it should just be based on merit. It doesn't matter what your race, your sex, your gender, whatever. Um, we need America first, and hopefully, I think we're all getting behind this. JFK Jr. for president. Michael and I still think JFK Jr. is still alive. That's like a QAnon thing, but yeah. Um, Iran's out of gas, Jason's saying. Whose husband is ill? Is it Tulsi Gabbard's husband's ill? I didn't know that. I think what I understand, he doesn't even get into politics, which is crazy. Can you imagine being married to Tulsi Gabbard and like not even willing to talk about politics? What would you talk about with Tulsi Gabbard besides politics? I mean, I don't know. Anyway, the point being, it looks like this week was the final nail in the coffin of the United States of America. We all know once and for all we're cooked. We're just cooked, and it's really sad to see that. And I hope I'm not alienating anybody out there by talking about this stuff. If you don't like Trump, you should be interested in this conversation because it's an anti-Trump kind of an anti-Trump conversation. And God bless you, Jason. I know Jason's a diehard Trumper, and good for you, Jason. I hope Trump is everything that yeah, I'm, I don't, I, I don't judge anybody for their opinions or where they're at in all this mess. Jason's a great guy, and I think he's still behind Trump. We're cooked like scrambled eggs, Noah says. Kevin Gillette's out there. Everybody's tuning in, dude. This is a historic episode, y'all. Everybody's chiming in. Kevin saying that's the reason she gave for resigning. Okay. So this is interesting. So I was at a party last Saturday, right? It was Jenny's party, her housewarming house concert. And we all got to talking afterwards, and politics came up. Somebody asked me who I like as far as like a what is it, contemporary artist, and I said Billie Eilish and her brother are some of the most talented artists out there right now. I just think that their music is amazing. It's really great. It's undeniably great. But her politics, just kind of like, just don't want to hear her talk about politics. She said at the Grammys or whatever, like, no one's illegal on stolen land, and it's such a cliche statement at this point because the indigenous people of Los Angeles, basically the next day were threatening to take her house because they're like, well, if you're on stolen land, then give us our land back. And so it doesn't really go anywhere. Anyway, we all got to talking, and things started to erupt about immigration issues and all this stuff. But the point is, somewhere in the conversation, everybody from every political angle agreed that there is something very suspicious going on with the country that shall not be named, that Travis named earlier. Welcome to Name It Again, Travis. Yeah, her politics are trash. She has no idea what she's talking about. Like, that's the whole problem with the whole thing. Is like, if people have good, thanks, Travis. If people have good reasons for hating Trump, that's great. That's fine. But if it's like the standard, like, CNN issues with Trump, it's like that's like boring. They're not true. There's other issues with Trump that there's reasons to not like Trump that are not like mainstream. Anyway, what the biggest one being now, like, it doesn't look like he's America first anymore, and maybe he got compromised. And I hope Jason didn't tune out because I know Jason. I think Jason's still with Trump, and I know my parents still kind of into Trump. I don't know. JFK found out the hard way that that about that country. Yeah, he did. I guess that's what it looks like, right? I mean, and again, people who like that country and you are my friends, there's a lot of it has nothing to do with you, particularly. It's just like every country has a government that is corrupt at this point, and we have to all understand that. Every country, including the country that Travis is brave enough to spell out there on the internet. But anyway, so that happened this week, and it's just not looking good, dude. It's just not looking good. Like, what's next? I mean, they're just gonna come out and say it, like we're not even we're not even a country anymore, right? Like the whole world is gonna become one country or something. I love hearing arguments for Israel at this point, says Travis. Yeah, I guess I'm open to I'm open to it. Like I want to hear arguments for that. Yeah. Anyway, APAC was like the whole thing, right? And times are great, Jason says. Jason, are you still 100% behind Trump after all this? If you are, that's fine. I get it, man. Maybe you're right. Maybe he's up to something. There's some really good explanations out there. A pack of lies. That's hilarious, Travis. That's what it is. Anyway, this turned into a political show like pretty quick there. I wasn't trying to go down this political rabbit hole too much, but that's what this next song is that I put out this week. It's called "Fools of Us," and it's supposed to be. Jason says it's going to be okay. Yeah, Jason says it's gonna be okay. Jason's a good guy, he's a smart guy, and we all have our stances here, and there is good explanations. Like I have friends from Iran who say Trump is actually liberating them from the regime that took over in the 70s that is actually backed by the country that shall not be named. So he's actually going against that country that shall not be named by alleviating the regime in Iran, which is really very complex, but it could be true. And I know Michael and I were talking about that the other day. Maybe this white hat QAnon stuff ain't over yet. Maybe there's a white hat operation going on that we don't know about. It just does not look good to us people that cannot see behind closed doors. So I wrote this song called "Fools of Us." And here it goes. Let's see. Where is I gotta get the lyrics? There's like some lyrics in here that I cannot remember. Now left thinks it's right, but all our leaders are traitors. They promise us things we did not vote for this. It turns out democracy can be surreptitious. They tricked and made fools out of all of us. They tricked and made fools out of all of us. Do they please Satan by making all this fuss? Can't they remember we all returned to us? How will they ever explain to Jesus they tricked and made fools out of all of us? They tricked and made fools out of all of us. The friction is rising like the heat in August. These Rockefeller schools are not nutritious. I cannot take this. I want off this bus. They tricked and made fools out of all of us. They tricked and made fools out of all of us. might think I am being contentious, but I think all of this is very suspicious. How they made all this junk taste delicious. They tricked and made fools out of all of us. They tricked and made fools out of all of us. Tell me who it is we are supposed to trust. Where do we go if we need some justice? 'Cause now we realize just how vicious they tricked and made fools out of all of us. They tricked and made fools out of all of us. All right, thank you very much. Yeah, I put that song out this week. I think I've gotten like 60 or 70 views on YouTube, which is just like whatever, you know. What are you gonna do when Google is your new record label or whatever? I don't know, man. It's I put it out on CD Baby as well. I did not put it on Spotify or anything. I've given up on Spotify. It's a waste of money to put stuff up. You know, you pay $20 to put something up on Spotify, and then you make $20 in 20 years back, right? Or whatever. It's not a good, and they say it's good for promotion or whatever. But I don't know, dude. I'm done. And I'm almost done with like putting stuff up anywhere except for my website, just being like, okay, I got a new song on the website. There's a 30-second clip here you can hear for free. And then if you want to hear the full song, you could pay $5, you know, like to pay just $5 for supporting, you know, like when you go to a local coffee shop, you're okay paying a little extra because it's not Starbucks, you know, like that's part of the whole thing. Anyway, sorry about that. What did people say? I thought Travis's comment, "A pack of lies," is hilarious. Um, I know Travis said I'm instigating. The white hats are much bigger than the tiny hats. Let's hope so. It's great that you explore the full spectrum. Thanks, man. That's exactly what I've been trying to do. My friend Seth Hoffman also told me that he really appreciated it. That's what I've been trying to do with this podcast really since the beginning of it. It was really trying to bridge the divide, find the common ground, have everybody be able to discuss how they feel about stuff, no matter which position they're in, no matter what position they're in. And let's just see if there's common ground, like we did last week at this party. Things were heated when I said that about Billie Eilish, but at the end of the conversation, it was like a glorious moment. At the end of the conversation, we all said, "Yeah, we do all agree that there's something very suspicious about this country, that being behind all of our politicians, you know, the country that shall not be named." Um, and yeah, I think it's happening more and more. My friend Murdoch and I were talking today too, and he sees it in schools where kids are becoming, you know, they're just becoming more aware of what's going on, and that's really great. Like more people are waking up, and um at least we're aware is what I'm saying. Like, you know, we have to all admit before the pandemic, we didn't know who Thomas Massey was. Right? Did you know who Thomas Massey was before the pandemic? But now this pandemic and the last 6 years, people are paying attention, and if democracy is actually is going to work properly, that's what it takes. Takes a well-informed population to make decisions, and we're very well informed now. And I think that's something we can all get behind too, is that at least we're all paying attention now, at least trying to pay attention. And it seems like both sides, the divide between the sides this week really got smaller. It was I feel like I feel like both sides are very skeptical of Trump at this point, which is a good thing, right? That we can agree on that. Like, yeah, like some people hate him for the wrong reasons, right? But then some people like don't hate him, of course. People don't like him for the wrong reasons, and then other people don't like him for I feel like the right reasons. Like, yeah, like he sold us out to the country that shall not be named. So anyway, um, Jason said that's a great lick. Thanks, man. Thanks, Jason. And never done. Keep on trucking. Music is alive when it's live, even on the internet, even on the Matrix, right? We're going through the Matrix here, doing some music through the Matrix. And yeah, I just keep on trying to get this going on, you know, like I keep doing it. And right now, this has been a nice crowd tonight. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Like I had some really cool friends tune in. I know Mark with it, and we were like talking a little bit of politics last night, and he does not like Trump at all, which I get, I understand. Um, and we were just like, yeah, it's we need to all come together. We could definitely agree on that. Like everybody has to come together because basically these people in power with all the money, that's what they want. They want us to continue to fight, and if we could just figure out a way to not fight, that's the best thing we can do right now. How about another song? I think people tuned out. I don't know if they like it better when I just talk about politics and Trump or what. But I guess it's just been a juicy week in politics. Um, and I hope too people who watch this who aren't aware of what's going on, it helps them become aware. Like I think a lot of people don't realize what happened this week. What's Michael saying? Massey election had 80% more voters than 2 years ago. All 80%. Yeah, I saw that. You sent me that video on Instagram. That's crazy. Some trickery going around with that with our voting system. So, I mean, how are we gonna catch them on that? How are we ever gonna stymie them and be like, yeah? How do you ever prove that? Nothing to see here, Travis said. Yeah, nothing to see here. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I'm gonna play a couple more songs, I guess, on this guitar. This guitar is super hard to play. It has these huge strings on it because I'm tuned a step and a half down, and that they're just like way off the fingerboard. But when I tune it down, like I'm gonna do, it's a lot easier to play. This next song is a song I've rarely played on here, and it's a very negative song, but it's also supposed to be funny. So it's called "I Hate My Job." My friend, another friend of mine and I were talking this week, and people who hate their jobs, you don't want to, you don't really want to hang out with people who hate their jobs. It's not healthy. But I was working at this job at this time. It was a terrible job. I won't say what job it was, but it was like one of those jobs. It was a long time ago. It was like one of those jobs where you just dread going in the next day. You're like, it's like a Sunday, and you're like, oh my god, I have to go back to work tomorrow. This is like, you just dread it, you know. But this song, it's I think it's relevant because we're all working to pay taxes to a government that we know is corrupt, and I think that's why this song's still relevant now. It's like they're dangling it in our faces too. Like, no, we have nothing. There's nothing we can do about it. They're showing us all this stuff, the Epstein stuff, the stuff with APAC, and they're just rubbing it in our faces and being like, "There's nothing you can do about it." And it's weird if you believe the history of this country. The the revolutionaries that founded this country, they were revolting over. I think it was like a 2% tax or 2 or 3%. It was like a super low tax, and now we're approaching 40%, and we're still just like, oh, whatever. And it was only 6% of the population, they say, at the time of the revolution, the United States Revolution. Um, there was only 6% of the population who was part of that revolution. The other parts of the population were either just like apathetic and just like stayed out of the way. Or was like, I don't know, man. and then the other part was against them. So 6% of a population was able to throw off, if you believe the story, which I know some people don't, was able to throw off a major empire. The British Empire was like the biggest empire in the world at the time, and 6% of the colonies, of the population of the colonies, were able to overthrow them. So it's a really inspirational story. With God on your side, sometimes you can get some stuff done. So the song's called "I Hate My Job." I don't really want to sing now. It's almost this show's almost over, and I paid for at least one missile last year. Good work, Travis. Good work. Thanks for paying for that missile that did God knows what. Only God knows where that missile went, right? Work too much, underpaid, says Jason. Elections are safe and effective. Michael. Yeah, it's hilarious. I'm gonna play a different song. I was gonna play a song. It's too angry. I don't feel like getting angry. This is a peaceful song. This one's called Desert Desert. This is supposed to be about New Mexico. This whole show. So I'm gonna get some of those robo tuners, y'all. They're called Tronical tuners, and I'll tune it for you, especially when you're going to an alternate tuning like this. I've seen it. I've seen them on YouTube. They're really cool. I think these are Gotos, actually, Travis. They actually are. It's just, yeah, you can literally see it. I don't know if you can see it, but they are Gotos. It's just the intonation on this guitar it's a short neck. It needs to be a baritone neck because I've got it in a baritone tuning. I'm going down to drop A. That is terrible. Look up Tronical tuners, Travis. They're cool. You just basically you push a button that you want to go into. You could program your own tunings. You push a button, you do the strings, and it tunes it for you. But it can't do anything for your intonation, of course. Oh, screw it. I'm gonna play a different song then. Sorry, y'all. Got a few more minutes here. I'm gonna play "I'm an Alien and I Want to Go Home." This is an old song of mine too. The Co-op. Yeah, man. All right, here we go. You remember that I did? Mark was talking about when I filmed the video for "I Hate My Job." I went to the Co-op and I was acting like I was a cashier there. They let us come in and do that, so that was cool. It was a cool video. That's a cool video for "Hey Job." I have to say, watch it if you can. Let's see. I'm gonna thank my supporters here. My parents. Thanks, my parents. Let's see if anybody else donated today, and then got all my Patreon supporters. I decided I should drop their names. Thanks to Christina Kelso for being a Patreon supporter. To Alexander Colvan, Karen Palmer, Cynthia Gillen, Charles McCoy, Duke Crowder, Juniper Bowers, Jeremy Fine. Jeremy Fine's been a longtime supporter, and my dad. Thanks, y'all, for being supporters on Patreon. And play one more song for y'all. Thanks everybody for tuning in, man. That was cool. Really good to hear from everybody. It was a big week here in the United States. Big bad week in some ways, I guess. But we're all still here. We got a chance with God on our side. This song's called "I'm an Alien and I Want to Go Home." I was living in the Garden of Eden, I was eating fruit right off the trees. Harmony on my mind, I was living a life of ease. God spoke to everyone over intercom. The speakers were in the clouds, we all lived in a wigwam. We could speak back to him on a microphone that was hanging from the ceiling from a wishbone. One morning God spoke to us and he made a forecast. You're all getting too wild, so now you must fast. Breakfast was skipped and no one really cared. It wasn't until supper people started getting scared. Stomachs were rumbling louder than the clouds. I never missed a meal before and I thought I might pass out. Sat down on the couch and started watching some TV. There's some guy on the news digging in the dirt, planting pinto beans. Called himself a farmer, he's taking control of the situation. Went back to digging some more. I looked over at my friend who sat in a recliner. I noticed he was eating. I asked him what he said. TV dinner. Maybe I forgot, so I reminded him. Got some not to eat until further instructions. We don't need God anymore. You're a simple little man. Now the farmer sells his food from his taco stand. Follow my nose down to the smell of the taco. Walked up to the counter, I ordered 5 bean burritos. The guy there asked for it here to go, and I told him that I'd stay. He pushed some buttons on the register, said that'll be $6.50. I didn't know what money was, so I asked him for his boss. He looked at me kind of crazy and told me to get lost. Feeling very weak by now, so I went to the microphone. Wanted to ask God if this fast could be postponed. Then I spoke and did not hear a reply, cause there was too much noise outside while the people in cars passing by. Walking down the street to find a fruit tree. Lots of green grass, but not a single tree. Sidewalk with my bottle of liquor. Some people threw some coins at me, but I had no idea what they were, so I got a job mopping floors. Lasted almost a day. I had no option, I was late. I got fired, got paid. That night I slept in the park underneath the stars when a flying saucer came down from the planet Mars. Hop in, buddy, I'm looking for you. The creature said to me, and just like that, the speed of light, I went off to another galaxy. Goodbye. So long, planet Earth. I never understood these people anyway. All right, thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate you tuning in. See y'all next time. Talk to you on the phone soon, hopefully. Whatever else. I love the microtonal. That's it, man. It's microtonal. I've been doing microtonal since that weird before that band came out, right? They're cool, right? They're all right. That Quebec French Canadian band. But yeah, that's all microtonal. When you play with the slide, it's definitely microtonal. Jason got me a wishbone one year for my birthday. Let's keep it going. Good show. Hey, thanks, Dad. Appreciate that. One of the best songs by anybody, especially Billie Eilish. Got going to make a wish. Murdoch says Martin rocks. Thanks, Murdoch. Appreciate it. All right, y'all. See you next time. All sickness. All sickness. Yeah, man. I should have played my song called New Mexico. You guys want to like one more song? Let me play this song. Since I'm in New Mexico, I have to play this song called New Mexico. I think I might have played it recently. I played it on my friend Seth's podcast, but you haven't seen that yet because it hasn't come out yet. I'm gonna play one more song. One of these days, seriously, y'all gonna watch me on here and see me have my robo tuners. I can go into any tuning I want, super quick. All right, this is the first song I ever wrote when I moved to New Mexico in 1999. It's called New Mexico. Oh, it's so yeah. I got to tell a tuning joke, as Travis was saying. One of them Gene Stamper. This is one I've been telling a lot lately, Travis. I've been drinking a lot of grasshoppers at the bar. This grasshopper walks into a bar and he orders a drink. And the bartender's super excited. He goes, "Hey, man, we've got a drink named after you." And the grasshopper says, "Really? You have a drink named Bob?" That's it. That's the perfect joke for today. Did Sandara love this song? This New Mexico song? Oh, she loved the I'm an alien, I want to go home. We love Sandara. We miss you, Sandara. Travis thought that joke was funny. That's cool. All right, here we go. On the planet Earth, where I live, there's a spot down here that the locals know. It's called New Mexico. New Mexico. And the sky is bright. It comes on down and wraps around my head. I gotta know. All I fall out this world, traveling through space and time, without my girl. I've got to know. Here in Mexico, but serious about all of this. The space aliens and other space creatures, they all know about the hole where people go when they fall off this world, traveling through space and time, but without my girl, I'm got to hold on. Here in New Mexico. God bless you, New Mexico. God bless everybody out there. I'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in today. And looks like Mark Whitted liked that one. Thanks, Mark. Good to see you last night. See you tomorrow. Spazzy3687 says. I don't know who that is, but see you tomorrow. I'll be at Tractor Brewing tomorrow here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Knob Hill location 7 to 9. And my sister laughed at the joke. I guess my dad's gonna steal the joke, Travis said. You know, if my dad takes a joke, it's good. If he steals one of your jokes, it must be good. Yeah. Hey Murdoch, thanks for tuning in, bro. It was so good to hang out with you today. I hope to see you tomorrow. All right, guys, see you next time. Thanks a lot. I gotta get across town, visit my friend Debbie for dinner. All right.